What's up, YouTube? It's your favorite broker and host, Wayne Chappelle, and I'm back at you again, with the mini series. This one is on sellers, and I want to dive right into the topic, which the topic of this video is going to be types of deeds. And to go over deeds, and so you guys understand, there's a term called deeds and there's a term called title, right? And a lot of people use these interchangeably, but they are not the same thing. So just to briefly, kind of separate these two so you guys understand the difference and distinction between both. A title is basically your right to the property, the right to the real estate, where the deed is the actual document that's recorded down at the county clerk or the municipality where the property is located. So at the local municipality, typically at the county clerk or the recorder's office is where this deed is going to be recorded. So the deed gets recorded. That's a physical document, right? Versus title is, you hear the term say, how do you want to take title on something? Is basically how are you taking ownership, right? And there's different ways to take title. I'm not going to get into that in this video. You got tenants in common, you joint tenancy, you got all different kinds of ways to take title. But I'm not going to get into that in this video. I just want to talk about types of deeds, and there are many. Typically, there's only a couple that are used. I know, in my line of business dealing with real estate investors, it's usually here in Georgia is going to be a limited warranty deed or a special warranty deed. But let me just go over these real quick. There's a lot of them. I don't even know all of them off the top of my head. I'm just going to go over some briefly, just so you guys have an idea of the different types of deeds that there are out there. So just let me fire these off real quick. So types of deeds, you have warranty deed, court order deed, you have guardian's deed, executor's deed, special purpose deed, quit claim deed, grant deed, bargain and sale deed, admin's deed. We got sheriff's deed, which you don't want a sheriff's deed. That's pretty bad. But sheriff's deed, tax deed, deed and partition. You have gift deeds, deeds of trust, trustees deeds, deeds of reformation, just to name a few. But there are quite a bit of different deed types that are out there. And I'm based out of Georgia. I have mentioned in previous videos, I'm also licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida. I do business in those states. But typically when you're looking at the type of deeds, and I can just tell you in general what I deal with in my line of business and the clients that I represent, is typically going to be a limited warranty deed or a special warranty deed. Those terms are pretty much interchangeable. But with the limited warranty deed versus, let's say, a general deed, which general is kind of a blanket deed, which goes back to the beginning of time, saying that you're going to warrant, you're basically warranting that title or that deed, back to the beginning of time, versus the limited warranty deed is stating that you're only responsible for the time that you've actually owned that real estate or that piece of property. So in regards to deeds and title, understand the difference between the two. So once again, with the title is how you're taking ownership of something. And a lot of times you hear the term, the closing attorney or title will ask you, well, how do you want to take title? If you're married or if you're single or if you're, a group of people, purchasing real estate, they'll ask you how you want to take title. And then the deed itself is actually what gets recorded down at the municipality, so that there is a constructive notice that, this property has transferred, this piece of real estate has transferred. So filing that deed is very important. Now, I do know, there's people that purchase property and do not actually file their deed. They don't give constructive notice that they are in the property. So they may buy the property, don't record the deed, they don't move in the property. They live in another property, they may live out of state. And, so that seller that sold you the property can, in essence, resell the property if they want to do that. Now, that wouldn't be an ethical thing to do. But if a seller wanted to sell that property twice, being that that buyer didn't record that deed and didn't give constructive notice, that seller could possibly get away with that. I'm not putting stuff out there that you guys want to try and do and make happen, but I just want to relay the fact that recording the deed is very important. So that's a legal document, not how you're taking title, but the legal document that basically gets filed with the county that states that you now own this property. You've given constructive notice by filing that deed and getting that deed recorded. So very, very crucial, very critical step. Now, typically nowadays, most closings, that closing attorney or title is going to make sure that happens, right? Because typically most transactions deal with some type of loan, some type of lender that's involved. So that lender is going to protect their asset and make sure that deed gets recorded so that that shows up in the public record and there's constructive notice that's given. So typically, unless you're, in those one-off situations where you're buying a property cash, there's no lender involved, and sometimes there's not even an attorney involved, and you don't record that deed, hey, you're putting yourself in a bad predicament, because that property can be sold again, and whoever's on that deed or typically who's on title, who has interest, can resell that property and convey that deed to somebody else if you don't get that deed recorded. So very important. Like I said, I'm just briefly going over the deed topics here. We could spend all day on this, matter of fact, but just wanted to drop this video real quick. Hope you guys found some information in this. I know this was a short video. It probably wasn't that much information, but hopefully based off of the deeds that I read off earlier, you at least understand that there's many types of deeds that's out there. And number two, you understand the difference between taking title and actual deeds. So once again, I'm looking for you guys' input, in comments down below so that I can, draw up some quality material that I can present to you guys. And with that being said, I want you guys to go out there and have a blessed day. Go out there and make it happen. And I'll see you guys on the next video.